She got in a huge fight with her sister during their grandmother's funeral, and she wants to know if it's time to patch things up. Mo's got the email.
Hey, guys. I heard you guys talking recently about being put in an uncomfortable situation and having to feel the awkwardness and deal with repercussions for stepping in and or putting an end to it. So I need to know if I was put in an uncomfortable position and did the right thing or if I'm wrong. A few months ago, my grandmother passed away. My two sisters, Sheila, Abby, and I decided we would all like to take a road trip together to her funeral. My dad and aunt were her caretakers for the last few years of her life and lived in her home and with her, where they were kind enough to let us stay in the home with them overnight while we were in town. The night before the funeral went great, and we had a good time with my family. The next morning, the morning of my grandmother's funeral, my sisters started arguing and it began to get loud. It was early, about 8 a.m., before anyone else in the home was awake. I'm literally sitting in between them, uncomfortable AF, not saying anything, until it began to almost become a screaming match, and I literally had to tell them to shut the F up. This is not our home. This is the day of our grandma's funeral. We have bigger things to worry about. Anyways, one of my sisters, Sheila, apologized and began to act normal throughout the day. The other one, Abby, did not speak to either of us the rest of the day. Even at the funeral, she completely ignored us, walked right past us, and went and sat by herself. After the funeral and burial, the entire extended family went to my grandmother's home. When my sister Abby arrived, she got out of the car screaming and crying at me and Sheila about how we could not sit with her and how we're such terrible sisters. Then she threatened to leave us there, in another state, with no way to get home. It was a hot mess unfolding in my grandmother's driveway after her funeral as my entire extended family pulled up. All because I told them to shut up at 8 a.m. Anyways, she did drive us home after I offered her gas money and apologized, but I was pissed that I had to apologize. This was in December last year. We still don't talk. She even excluded inviting me from her baby shower, but did invite Sheila. I just don't know what to do. I have no desire to patch things up on my end, but I feel like I deserve an apology. Am I wrong?
Is it just me, or is there like something deeper here? Like, I don't feel like it's about that argument. I feel like there's something else. But if the sister doesn't express what she's upset about, how can our listener fix it?
Yeah, I feel like one of the hard truths with women that I've experienced in multiple different scenarios with multiple different women is sometimes they will use things as a lightning rod.
Yeah.
Like maybe resentment or years of just past just troubles within the relationship just start to build up to the point where like they have some kind of ill will towards you, but they can't really express it without having something to tack it onto. So really, I feel like what just happened is you had an outburst that I guess on paper would make you look like an a-hole, and they've decided, Abby, who sucks, typical Abby thing here, has decided to use this as that lightning rod to basically make you the villain that she's kind of always wanted you to be, I feel like. So I don't really feel like there's any getting way around it except for just having like a very open conversation and saying, look, I don't really understand why we couldn't have just moved on from that one situation. Is there something else that's brewing beneath the surface? Is there anything else I can do to make it up for you? Because I do think if you want to stay in contact with your sister and still be a part of her life, you've got to decide, do you want to be right or do you want to have her in your life?
I feel like this is one of those situations where someone does something that they're embarrassed for doing, and instead of just apologizing, they avoid it because they don't want to face what they've done. And that's what this kind of feels like. So for me, I really don't think there's much she can do. I mean, grandma's funeral, you kind of get it. Tempers are flaring. Everybody's emotional. I can see how an argument would happen, but you would think that at some point that would be that you leave it there. A year later, she's still not speaking to you. And you said yourself, you have no desire to patch it up. You just want an apology. I don't think waiting around for the apology if you don't want to patch it up is worth it, because you're probably going to be waiting for a very long time.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me that this goes down in a funeral when, I mean, it doesn't get any more obvious that life is fleeting and we're here for a short time. So why hold a grudge and why sit on this for as long as you have and then not invite your sister to your baby shower? Obviously, you sent us this email because you want to patch things up. So if I were you, I would send either a text or an email to my sister and be like, hey, I can't believe it's been this long. What happened at grandma's funeral was unfortunate, but I feel like there must be something deeper here than just that argument. Is there something I'm not aware of that you can express? And then if she responds, she responds. If she doesn't, she doesn't. And I would just, at that point, chalk it up to a sister that's being like really stubborn and holding a grudge, which sucks, but you can't force somebody. You can't force somebody to forgive you, and you definitely can't force somebody to act the way you want them to.
Because it's odd that she seemed to have gotten to the argument with Sheila initially, but now everything is fine with him. Now she's holding on to something.
I know. Maybe you and Sheila just need to gang up on Abby. Just show up next family gathering, just ready to brawl.
Yeah, next funeral.
Yeah, next funeral. Next time a relative passes away.
Round two.
Yeah,
Perfect
round two.
time.
Ding ding.
The Bert Show.